As a vicious murder case runs ice cold, can this psychic medium find her killer?
She says, go through the emails, go through the emails.
His shocking discovery.
The police are missing this.
All new.
The most frustrating part of solving a murder is when the case goes cold, but could there be a way around that? Check this story out.
Even in an age of DNA evidence and other crime-fighting technologies, a cold case is still a reality. Some police and investigators will turn to an otherworldly resource to help solve a serious crime. They seek the help of a psychic, medium, or a clairvoyant, someone who uses their extrasensory gift to help crack the case. Many people outright deny the possibility of a sixth sense, but there are those who can attest to the power and sometimes shocking accuracy in how a psychic can lead police in a fresh new direction, find a loved one, or even catch a killer.
Joining us today is psychic lawyer Mark Anthony. Mark, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Fascinating topic. As a psychic lawyer, I'm curious how you bring your work as a psychic into the law.
Well, both jobs deal with evidence. As an attorney, you have to have evidence to prove your case in court. And as a psychic medium, I have to present evidence which is transmitted to me from a spirit to the recipient that can be verified.
And I understand you've written a book, too, called Evidence of Eternity. Tell us about that.
Evidence of Eternity bridges the gap between the spiritual and the scientific. And I've redefined the terms in mediumship, which were coined in the Victorian era, and I brought it into the 21st century based on science, theoretical physics, human physiology, and evidence. Because what I've found is that faith and science are not mutually exclusive.
Mark, I gotta ask you. One, I'm not a doctor, I'm a lawyer like you. So do you use these powers like to get the upper hand in a case? So if you and I were trying a case together, would you like know everything that's happening because of your psychic power? And I'd be like reading the law books and doing what I learned in law school, and you would be like kicking my butt because you would know everything.
Well, I'd do my best. Being psychic gives me insights. It does not make me all-knowing and all-seeing. And I tell people I'm a medium, I'm not the Messiah. Okay. But it does give me insights into situations, and it certainly has come in very handy in the courtroom.
I can see how that would be the case. I'm curious because you read The Man Who Found Caylee Anthony's Body.
Yes, I did.
Tell
I
us
was
about
doing
that.
a public event, and there were several people, maybe about 100 or so people at the event. And all of a sudden, I could see the spirit of a little girl, and I began to feel a deterioration in a wire mesh over her face. And I felt the body was in water. And I started describing the impressions I was getting, and I said, there's a man who was braver than my daddy, is what came forward. And this man stands up in the crowd, he began to shake, and the tears, he said, I found Caylee Anthony's body. And what had happened was he was a truck driver, and he had stopped, and I know it's a G-rated show, but he got out to relieve himself, and he started smelling something, and he walked over, and he saw the skeletal remains of a child. Turned out to be Caylee Anthony, and he was arrested, and initially the suspect, but they found later that he was not the suspect. And it was very healing for him to hear Caylee basically say, thank you for bringing some closure to this by finding the remains.
Have you worked with law enforcement in the past to help them find, say, bodies or people that have gone missing? Have you been able to help law enforcement?
I've been consulted a number of times with law enforcement, and what people have to realize that psychic intuition and messages from spirits, that's hearsay. And as an attorney, we know that hearsay is an out-of-court statement offered to prove the truth of the matter asserted. Can you think of anything more hearsay than something from a spirit? But a little bit. But what it does is it can lead the police on the trail to find admissible evidence, which can then lead to the arrest and hopefully the conviction of the murderer.
And we do have to go to break, but Mark is going to stick around, and speaking of a cold case, he gets involved after the break. One family was devastated by the loss of a loved one, and the pain of not having closure only added to their heartbreak. Have a look.
Alison was a very kind, gentle, outgoing person, and she had an infectious smile. She was a real superstar.
She was smart, she was pretty, She was driven, and I admired her a lot.
We didn't live in the same state, but I talked to her at least once a day.
My cousin Allison was 31 years old on the day she was brutally murdered 2 years ago.
When the police called me, they told me she was deceased.
I walked in that house and I felt evil. I saw evil. I saw the blood streaks. Allison suffered from severe head trauma. She was strangled and she was raped.
This person had used some chlorine compound to try to cover up what he had done. There were no signs of forced entry into her home. The Scottsdale police found DNA from the perpetrator in the house, and to date, we have not found a match in the national database. It has been 2 years since Allison was murdered, and the case has not been solved. We believe she was followed and targeted. She didn't know this person, but we don't know. That's why the DNA is so important to solving the case. We may never know why it was done, but we'd like to know who, and we'd like that person punished. Life without her has been really hard.
Do anything so my cousin Allison can rest peacefully.
Harley and Jody were desperate for answers and wanted to search for them beyond this world. They met with psychic lawyer Mark Anthony.
I want you to take a deep breath. Okay, I'm getting a younger female coming through, and what I'm getting with her is a shearing sensation going right through her body, which is indicating a very abrupt passing. Does that make sense? She's very happy that you're here and doing this. Just give me the Gemini time frame. You're smiling.
It's her birth time.
She keeps showing me the number 18, 18, 18. You're nodding. All right, in
Yes.
what way?
The day she passed.
Was the 18th. Are you having any problems in the throat area, or was that with her? Because I'm feeling here, here, and here. It feels like someone's, I hate to say this, like choking me. Okay, that makes more sense with her?
Yes.
She was murdered. That's what this feels like. She knew the attacker, too.
We believe she was tracked.
That's exactly what I'm getting, is that he was watching her for a while. She keeps talking about the precipitating events and provoking this. Monday, Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday. Does that make any sense?
It's a Tuesday night.
She passed on a Tuesday night?
Yeah.
She was very worried on that Monday. That's what she keeps conveying. It feels to me that the police are overlooking some of the evidence. She says, go through the emails, go through the emails. She keeps talking about DNA.
That's all there is.
I don't know anything about the case, but that's a verifiable fact following the message. Do you want to ask her any questions?
Who did this to you?
It's weird because I keep getting Terrence and I keep getting like Frank or Franklin. That could be a place, that could be a name. I get that she knew this person though. She keeps showing bars. This guy's gonna get caught. He's gonna end up in jail. That's it. They're backing off.
We're now joined in the audience by Harley and Jody. And first of all, we're so sorry for your loss.
Thank you.
I'm curious in watching that because obviously we don't know the heartbreak that you're going through, but what was that experience like with Mark?
It was pretty enlightening. He seemed to come to new things very quickly, pretty accurately. And it's things that a lot of people don't know. Whether he read the case or not, that data is not public. So the fact that he knew it was pretty impressive.
Mark, I want to ask you because when you met Jody and Harley, you knew nothing about what they were going through.
Not at all. The way it was set up was I just arrived for the reading and we sat down and I did the session with them. I'd never met them. I know absolutely nothing about the case prior to it. One of the things that came through, I kept seeing him depicted in red, which indicates a crime of passion. It was a very physical guy, bit of a beer belly on him, brown chestnut colored hair, and he has, what I was getting, he's left the state. Now, Harley indicated that the police have been going through her emails, but I was getting a specific time frame between December 20th and January 20th that there's something in the emails and that she may have more than one email account. The police are missing this and they need to go through it again because I believe from what was being transmitted to me that the identity of the killer could be ascertained through that. But it really feels to me like he's gonna slip up and end up behind bars.
So Harley and Jody, I want to ask you what you'll now do with this information, and I'm assuming that you've continued to be resources to the investigators. Where do you go from here now that you've done this?
Some of the information that Mark has given us we'll share with the Scottsdale Police Department. Maybe they can go forward with some of the details that he shared with us. And we just want some closure with this.
Well, we hope that you all will find that closure. And certainly if you're watching this show, if you have any information regarding Allison's case, please contact Silent Witness at 480-948-6377 or the Scottsdale Police Department at 480-312-5000. We'll also have more information on our website. Harley, Jody, thank you so much for being here with us. For those of you who are fascinated by what Mark does, he has a new book out, as we mentioned, and it's called Evidence of Eternity, and you're all in the audience going home with a copy of his book. Mark, thank you very much. We'll be right back.